Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Seasons and Ritual and Independence Street Tarot, and I just want to jump on really fast for the 1212 portal. Um, we're going to pull a card, and I just want to speak a little bit on the astrology. I'll be back on the 15th for the full moon. Today is the 1212 portal, tomorrow is Friday the 13th, and then the 15th is the full moon in Gemini. Um, and Mercury will station direct on the 15th. So a lot of activity going on. And it's important to remember Mars has turned retrograde in Leo. And today and maybe tomorrow, Venus and Mars are in opposition. And I just wanted to speak on that for a little bit because a lot of times when astrologers speak about Mars and Venus being in opposition, it is an argument, right? It is men and women arguing with each other. And I just want to offer maybe a little different way of looking at it. And it is this idea that if I believe that we have the masculine and feminine energy both within us, it is this idea of how is it going to work together. So going into this age of Aquarius, Aquarius is about the individual first and the collective second. So the idea would be um, Mars and Venus are opposing each other today. So Venus is in Aquarius, right? She's speaking with Pluto. And then Mars is in Leo, which is opposite of Aquarius. And so we would have this conversation today. We would have what is it, where is it that I want to go? Because Mars is movement. What is it that inspires me? Because Mars is in Leo. And then Venus being in Aquarius, what's the big picture? How do I want to communicate differently? What do I see different coming in for myself, especially like with self-worth, love, how I love myself. And then again, I can look over at Leo, which also represents love. It represents the heart. And and have that conversation because the beautiful thing is I'll say because both this masculine and feminine energy is within me. And so I really feel like if we want to go forward and keep moving forward, there's always going to be quote unquote fights or things that rile us up. At the same time, I think it's important that we start seeing these energies within us and how they can help us move ourselves forward, how we keep working to move forward. Um, Pluto is still at 0 degrees of Aquarius. It's still going to be there until December 30th. So this is a really important time. It's a really important energy. You can work with this energy on the 1212 portal. You can work with this energy tomorrow on the 13th, Friday the 13th. And then again on the 15th, where the full moon will be illuminated. The other thing I wanted to point out today with Mars and Venus opposite of each other, it's also important to remember that this Mars is retrograde. So when there would usually probably be like a more of a like a intense energy with Mars in Leo, Mars is retrograde. So he's toned down. He would be talking to Venus, and they're having a different conversation because she's talked to Pluto, who's in Aquarius. It's important to remember that Venus has already talked to Pluto in Aquarius. Um, the last time Pluto went to Aquarius before he moved back into Capricorn, there's only been two planets that have spoke to Pluto in Aquarius, and it was the moon and Venus. So this Venus again is this mature feminine energy. This feminine energy is nurturing, it's intuition, right? It's creativity. And she's sitting and she's having another conversation with Pluto, and across from the table from her is Mars. Mars is a little quote unquote muted, if you will. He's a little more chilled out. He's in those early degrees of Leo, which to me is always like those really optimistic degrees. And I would say like page energy, if you were to talk about the tarot. And so they're having this conversation and he's like, okay, what's going on over there? Because the other thing that's happening right now, Mercury is retrograde, but Mercury is sextiling Mars and trining Venus. So communication is flowing, We might be going over some things because there is that retrograde. We might not have everything figured out because there is that retrograde, but it is about getting our masculine and feminine on the same page, especially with this Pluto and Aquarius. Venus is there. She's already been there. She's already spoken to Pluto before. And so it's like now she can deliver the messages, right? Mercury's helping deliver the messages to Mars. Mars is chilled out. He's listening. He's in that fixed fire sign. That fire, Leo is our ruled by the sun. That sun is our solar plexus. That is our self-confidence. That is our self-esteem. Leo rules the heart. It is what we love and what makes us passionate and what inspires us. And he's speaking to Venus over there, who is love, who is self-worth, who is the divine feminine energy. So we've got good communication here for this 12-12 portal. We've got good communication even if Mars and Venus are opposite of each other. I don't always see this as battlefield time for battle. And if you do, 12 in numerology, 1 + 2 is 3, and the 3 is the Empress, which is Taurus, right? The divine feminine, who is ruled by Venus in the Tarot. So I think a lot of good energy, quite honestly, today. And you know what's so funny is that I was saying, so it's 12-12. So if it's 3 is what do you call it? 2 of Wands. Yeah. So if 3 is the Empress, 3 + 3 is 6, and 6 is the Lovers card, and that's who we pulled today. And I always read the Lovers as you being your own best lover, you communicating with your masculine and feminine, you getting on the same page with yourself, right? And then what's interesting is that on the bottom is the 2 of Wands, and Wands is fire. And the 2 of Wands is still trying to figure things out, right? Where are we going? Where are we going to go next? And that makes sense with Mars being retrograde in Leo. So I hope this spread a little light on some things. It's okay to feel okay, right? And if you're not feeling okay, it's okay to take a time out and ask yourself, what is bothering me about this situation? Because even though Mars and Venus are opposite each other, they're in good communication with each other because of Mercury. So go over things, take a pause, take a time out. Why do I feel like I can't move forward? Right? Because, that much retrograde in Mars. And know this, like Mars being retrograde doesn't mean things won't be moving forward, but it just means they'll be moving forward differently instead of just like a complete like aggressive, full force, movement. There's going to be a gentler movement. There's going to be, I just feel like a calmer fire getting things. The fire is still there, okay, but it's going over some things because Mars really needs to learn how to communicate in not such an aggressive, toxic, unaccountable way. And so we've got all of winter to go through this. We have the equinox coming up on the 21st, and then because Mars stays retrograde in Cancer, which is represents the mother, it represents home, it represents, the womb. He's there until either March or May. I probably should have looked at that before I came on, but he's there for a long time. So he's having this conversation because we've got to understand how to start working with this gentler energy. It's very intelligent. It is from the earth and then it's from the cosmos because Venus is in Aquarius. So it's this whole new way of how we move forward. So pull the Lovers card today, which I think is great. If you guys have any questions, if you want to go over things, right? Comment in the comments below. I'll be back on the 15th for the full moon video. I hope everyone is staying warm and it is Thursday, so I hope you guys have a good weekend. Until next time.